Every man wonders the same thing, though few will admit it out loud. Why did she choose him and not me? What makes one man unforgettable while another becomes invisible? The answer isn't luck, looks, or money. It's something far quieter, something almost invisible until you've learned to see it. Because attraction, at its core, isn't a reaction, it's a recognition. She doesn't just like you, she feels you. In a woman's subconscious, the decision of who she chooses is never about who tries the hardest. It's about who moves her deepest. Most men try to be noticed, but the man she chooses doesn't chase her attention. He commands it through energy, not effort. His presence speaks before his words do. His calmness disarms her. His direction creates gravity. When he enters a room, she senses something different. Not because he's loud, but because he's still. A woman's attraction is emotional, but her choice is psychological. She's drawn to what she feels safe around, yet what also challenges her to rise. The man she chooses over all others makes her nervous and peaceful at the same time. He's unpredictable, but not unstable. He's detached, but not distant. He gives her space, yet makes her feel seen. That paradox is what her mind can't forget. You see, women are surrounded by men who want them, but few who understand them. The man she chooses over the rest doesn't compete with other men. He competes with her emotions. While others try to please her feelings, he influences them. While others seek her validation, he gives her clarity. His strength doesn't come from control. It comes from restraint. He doesn't react to her moods. He regulates the space between them. And that's what creates emotional imprint. That's what makes her think of him when she's with someone else. Because she's not addicted to his words. She's addicted to the feeling of safety and mystery he creates. He gives her the calm she can't find in herself and the excitement she can't create with others. That duality, peace with tension, is the silent magnetism that defines a truly high-value man. So when you ask, what makes her choose you over other guys? The answer isn't in what you say, wear, or own. It's in how you carry yourself when you say nothing at all. Because in a world full of noise, the man who moves with quiet certainty becomes the one her soul can't ignore. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course. It's a brotherhood. A private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month. You join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits. Just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below. Join the community. Enroll once, grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. The unseen language of energy. Long before words are spoken, attraction begins in silence. It's not what you say that first draws a woman in. It's what she feels in your presence. Most men never realize this. They focus on appearance, lines, and gestures, but a woman's intuition doesn't respond to what she sees. It responds to what she senses. Her subconscious reads your posture, your tone, your stillness, your self-control. That's the unseen language of energy. And it speaks louder than charm ever could. You can't fake this language. You can't pretend calm if you're secretly anxious. You can't fake confidence when your body still seeks approval. A woman's emotional radar picks up every inconsistency. She can feel desperation even when you smile. She can sense uncertainty even behind the perfect words. But when a man walks in harmony with himself, when his words, his energy, and his intentions align, she feels it instantly. It's not about dominance, it's about presence. Presence is what separates the man she remembers from the men she forgets. It's the quiet, grounded energy that says, I don't need to prove anything. It's the kind of stillness that commands attention without asking for it. And that stillness doesn't come from ego, it comes from mastery. The man who's at peace with himself creates peace around him. His energy feels safe but powerful, calm but unshakable. And that contradiction is irresistible to a woman's psychology. Women are emotional creatures, but they are deeply spiritual in their perception. They don't choose logically, they choose energetically. They gravitate toward the man whose presence feels balanced, too cold, and she feels unseen, too emotional, and she feels unsafe. The man who holds both, control and compassion, mystery and warmth, becomes unforgettable. He's the emotional anchor her instincts recognize as rare. This is why she may not even understand why she's drawn to him. She'll say, there's just something about him. That something isn't luck. It's alignment. It's emotional congruence. It's the absence of need. Because women can't connect deeply with men who need something from them. They connect with men who give off something deeper than words: direction, clarity, and calmness. And here's the secret. The energy you carry tells her what kind of life she'll have around you. If your presence feels chaotic, she associates you with stress. If your presence feels centered, she associates you with safety. You never convince her to choose you. You allow her to feel what choosing you would feel like. That's the unseen language every high-value man learns to speak, not through words, but through energy. Because in the end, she doesn't fall for what you do. She falls for how she feels when you're around. And when your energy feels like stability in a world of uncertainty, that's when she chooses you. Section 2. Emotional impact over physical attraction. Most men believe women choose based on attraction, looks, style, or charm. But what really decides who she gives her heart to isn't what she sees, it's what she feels. Physical attraction grabs attention, but emotional impact keeps it. The man she chooses over all others isn't the one who stimulates her eyes. It's the one who stirs her emotions in ways she can't control. Because while beauty might turn her head, energy rewires her mind. Attraction is the spark. But emotional impact, that's the fire she can't put out. A woman can admire many men, but she remembers only the one who touched something deeper. The man who made her feel seen without her having to explain herself. The one whose presence made her feel both safe and challenged. He's not the loudest in the room, but he leaves the strongest impression. Because he doesn't chase emotion, he creates it through his calm, controlled presence. Every woman is drawn to emotional rhythm. When a man speaks, moves, and reacts with control, she feels it in her body. His silence carries weight. His tone carries certainty. His actions don't fluctuate with her moods. They remain centered, and that consistency is rare in a world of impulsive men. The more emotionally balanced he is, the more unstable she feels, not in a bad way, but in a way that draws her curiosity. She starts wondering, why can't I stop thinking about him? That's the psychological power of emotional control. The truth is, women aren't chasing perfection. They're chasing sensation. They want to feel something they haven't felt before. The man she chooses over others doesn't compete by trying harder. He wins by doing less, but meaning it more. Every word he says has intention. Every silence has depth. He doesn't overinvest to be liked. He invests just enough to be felt. Because emotional impact doesn't come from attention, it comes from alignment. And here's the paradox. The less emotionally reactive he is, the more emotionally drawn she becomes. Because in a world where every man wants to impress her, he's the only one who makes her pause. He's the stillness in her chaos, the control in her confusion. She can't quite explain it, but his energy lingers long after he's gone. That's not seduction, that's impression. And impression is what decides who she truly chooses. Attraction fades, attention shifts. But the emotional fingerprint of a calm, grounded man stays imprinted in her psychology, because it's not about how much you give, it's about how deeply you make her feel. Section 3. The calm confidence that separates you from the rest. Confidence has become one of the most misunderstood traits in modern dating. Most men think confidence means being loud, dominant, or constantly proving they're in control. But true confidence, the kind that makes a woman choose you over every other man, is quiet. It's not the voice that tries to be heard, it's the presence that can't be ignored. It's not something you show, it's something you carry. The man she chooses doesn't need to convince her of his worth. His stillness already speaks it. He doesn't rush to fill every silence or fight for every response. He's comfortable with space. He's patient with timing. And that patience, that calm in the middle of her emotional storm, is what sets him apart. Because while other men try to impress her, he's already impressing her by how little he needs to try. His confidence isn't performance, it's peace. A high-value man's calmness doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from clarity. He knows who he is, what he wants, and what he stands for. That's why he never feels the need to chase. His life already has direction. His energy already has purpose. And women feel that difference instantly. She can sense when a man's confidence is built on validation and when it's built on inner stability. One makes her question, the other makes her surrender. You see, calm confidence has a gravitational pull. It draws her in without effort. It makes her curious, not through mystery games, but through emotional contrast. In a world full of men who act tough but fall apart under pressure, a man who stays grounded becomes magnetic. His reactions are measured, his tone is composed, his eyes speak certainty, even in silence. And to a woman, that's not just attractive, it's reassuring. It's what her instincts crave. The reason this kind of confidence separates you is because it gives her something rare, emotional safety. A calm man is predictable in the best way, not boring, but reliable. He's not easily thrown off by rejection, disrespect, or delay. He doesn't beg for connection, he inspires it. He doesn't demand loyalty. His energy naturally earns it. He doesn't prove power. He embodies it. When a woman feels that kind of energy, the kind that doesn't crumble under pressure or chase for approval, something inside her shifts. Her walls start to lower. Her curiosity starts to rise. Because she realizes that you're not like the rest. You're not moved by her tests, her moods, or her distractions. You remain still. And that stillness creates a space where attraction deepens into respect, and respect transforms into choice. In the end, the calmest man always wins. Not because he does more, but because he's mastered the art of doing less with meaning. While others fight for attention, he earns something far more powerful: her trust. Section 4. The psychological power of detachment. If calm confidence makes her notice you, detachment makes her remember you. It's one of the most misunderstood forces in attraction, because most men confuse detachment with disinterest. But real detachment isn't about indifference. It's about emotional discipline. It's the power to care without losing control, to feel connection, but still maintain direction. And that's exactly what separates a man she desires from a man she forgets. See, the average man falls the moment he gets attention. His focus shifts from purpose to pursuit, from control to craving. He starts to overinvest, overtext, overthink. And the moment he does, she feels it. the shift in energy, the loss of mystery, the surrender of self-respect. But a detached man moves differently. His energy stays grounded no matter how much he likes her. He can express interest without becoming dependent. He can show affection without giving away authority. Detachment is powerful because it creates contrast. While other men drown in emotion, he floats above it. He doesn't rush to respond because his world doesn't revolve around her response. He doesn't panic when she pulls away because his worth isn't measured by her attention. That's what triggers her psychology. She starts wondering why he's not reacting like everyone else. She becomes curious, intrigued, even unsettled by his calm. And that curiosity becomes attraction. What women truly crave isn't control. It's the feeling of being affected. And a man who is emotionally centered makes her feel that way. His restraint creates tension. His silence builds mystery. His patience becomes presence. She starts to feel a pull toward him, not because he's ignoring her, but because his energy communicates something rare. I choose you, but I don't need you. That balance drives her mind wild, because every other man needs her validation to feel whole, while he already feels whole without it. Detachment doesn't kill emotion. It refines it. It's the filter that keeps your power from leaking through impulsive reactions. It allows you to express love from abundance, not from fear. It teaches her that your attention is earned, not given by default. And that's exactly why she respects you, because she can't manipulate what she can't control. When a woman realizes that her beauty doesn't buy your obedience, she begins to value your energy. She'll test your patience, challenge your silence, and even provoke emotion. But deep down, that's how she confirms your strength. Because your ability to remain detached under pressure is what signals true dominance, control over yourself. In the end, detachment isn't distance, it's direction. It's the man's ability to love with clarity, not chaos. And that emotional composure doesn't push her away. It pulls her closer. Because a woman will always chase what doesn't need her to exist, but chooses her anyway. Section 5. How emotional control triggers female respect. When a woman looks at a man, she's not just observing his looks or listening to his words. She's feeling his emotional frequency. Every reaction, every silence, every glance sends her subconscious a message about who he really is. And deep down, what every woman is testing, even without knowing it, is a man's emotional control. Because it's not his money, his body, or his charm that earns her respect. It's how he holds himself when emotion enters the room. Women are naturally emotional beings. They feel deeply, move quickly, and react intuitively. That's not weakness, it's nature. But nature also craves balance. That's why they're drawn to men who can absorb emotional chaos without being consumed by it. The moment a man mirrors her instability, raising his tone, overreacting, or losing composure, she senses that she's dealing with emotion, not leadership. But the moment she meets a man who can stay centered through her storms, her instincts recognize him as safe. That's when respect is born. Emotional control is power disguised as patience. It's the quiet strength that separates men who chase validation from men who command respect. When she tries to trigger a reaction and he responds with calm, not silence as punishment, but silence as clarity, she feels something different. She realizes his emotions aren't available to be played with. His peace is not for sale. And that psychological shift is what transforms attraction into reverence. Because here's the truth. A woman can only trust a man she respects, and she can only respect a man who's emotionally stable. You can't protect what you can't control, and she knows it. When you lose control in conflict, you lose her trust. But when you maintain your composure, you create safety. Not through dominance, but through discipline. She doesn't want a man who dominates her emotions. She wants one who masters his own. That's why women test. It's not always conscious, but it's instinctive. They push buttons to feel where your limits are. Not to hurt you, but to see if your foundation is real. And most men fail these tests. They get defensive, reactive, emotional. But the high-value man passes by, staying still. His strength isn't in words, it's in restraint. His calmness says, "You can't move me." And that stability, that grounded energy, awakens her deepest respect. In time, she realizes something powerful. His emotional control is not coldness, it's security. It's the kind of energy that allows her to relax, to trust, to open. Because she knows that no matter how intense life becomes, this man won't fall apart. And that's when she chooses him. Not because he's perfect, but because he's predictable in peace. The man who can master his emotions doesn't need to demand respect. His silence earns it. His steadiness commands it. And to a woman's mind, that's the difference between a man she dates and a man she follows. Section 6. The subconscious. Triggers that make her feel safe with you. The moment a woman feels safe around a man, everything changes. Her tone softens. Her guard lowers. Her true femininity begins to surface. Not because she was pretending before, but because safety is what allows her essence to bloom. A woman doesn't fall in love with the man who excites her the most. She falls for the man whose presence makes her nervous and calm at the same time. That balance, excitement without chaos, mystery without fear, activates something ancient in her psychology. You see, attraction is about emotion, but connection is about safety. A woman's mind constantly scans for emotional cues, small signals that tell her whether she's secure or at risk. The way you move, the way you listen, the way you respond to stress, all of it speaks to her subconscious. When you stay calm under pressure, she feels stable. When you speak with patience instead of impulse, she feels heard. When you look at her with certainty, not obsession, she feels chosen, not chased. Those moments are not random, they're primal triggers. Women are emotional creatures, but their attraction is built on trust. The man she chooses over others is the one her body trusts before her mind does. He doesn't rush intimacy. He doesn't force connection. His energy says, "You're safe here, but I'll walk away if I must." That paradox, safety mixed with self-respect, creates an intoxicating tension that no nice guy can imitate. Because safety doesn't mean weakness, it means strength under control. High-value men understand this dynamic. They don't need to overpower a woman to make her feel safe. They simply master their own presence. Their tone stays consistent, their emotions stay measured, and their body language speaks certainty without arrogance. That's why a woman can sit next to such a man in silence and feel more connected than she's ever felt with someone who talked for hours. His energy tells her everything, without a single word. And here's the secret. When a woman feels safe, she becomes more feminine. Her laughter becomes more natural, her energy more fluid, her affection more open. She stops testing and starts trusting. Because deep down, every woman is looking for one thing: a man whose peace is strong enough to hold her storms. Not fix them, not fight them. Hold them with patience and power. This kind of safety isn't about protection from the world. It's about emotional stability in your energy. You become her calm in a world that thrives on anxiety, her stillness in a culture of noise. And that feeling, that emotional grounding, is what makes her choose you, even when other men might have more of everything else. Because no matter how much a woman says she wants excitement, she'll always return to where she feels safe. And the man who provides that safety, without losing his edge, becomes unforgettable. To her heart, that's not just attraction, that's home. At the end of everything, After all the words, the games, the emotions, what remains is energy. That's what truly decides who she chooses. She doesn't choose the man who shouts the loudest or tries the hardest. She chooses the man whose energy feels like truth, the one who doesn't promise peace but is peace. Because while attraction is emotional, choice is spiritual. She may desire many, but she only trusts one, and that one is the man who's mastered himself. A high-value man understands that the greatest power in love is not control, but containment. He doesn't need to own her to hold her attention. He doesn't need to chase her to keep her loyalty. His presence alone creates gravity. When he walks into a room, the energy changes, not because he's loud, but because he's still. He's the calm that other men pretend to have. He's the strength that doesn't need to be performed. And that stillness speaks louder than any charm. When a woman feels that energy, she doesn't question it. She remembers it. It imprints on her subconscious. Because for the first time, she's not dealing with a man who needs something from her. She's dealing with a man who already has himself. His validation comes from within. His direction doesn't waver. His emotions don't betray him. That's what makes her feel both safe and fascinated. A man who doesn't react to her energy, but redefines it. In that space, her entire body relaxes. She stops performing. She stops pretending. She stops running. Because she's finally met a man who doesn't feed her chaos, but neutralizes it. The very peace he lives in becomes the peace she didn't know she was craving. And it's in that silence, that effortless presence, that she chooses him over and over again. Not out of obligation, but out of instinct. Because her soul recognizes stability, the way lungs recognize air. That's the essence of Stoic attraction. The kind of energy that doesn't seduce through words, but through control. Not control over her, but control over self. The man who has mastered his emotions, his focus, and his peace becomes magnetic. He doesn't pursue validation. He creates value. He doesn't follow desire. He embodies discipline. And that's why women choose him. Because every fiber of her being knows, peace like his is not something you find twice. So remember this. You don't win her through performance. You win her through presence. You don't impress her through confidence. You impress her through consistency. And you don't make her choose you by standing out. You make her choose you by standing still. Because in the end, she doesn't fall for your effort. She falls for your energy. And the man who masters silence becomes impossible to replace. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today at stoiccouple.podia.com. Enroll once, grow forever.